spending a little bit of your day with me. And if you joined us last weekend for our first live, thank you. That was so much fun. And I'm hoping to go live again possibly this weekend. I still have to get a certain someone to agree to do it. But I'm pretty excited about it, so I hope they say yes. And if you don't want to miss it, and I feel like you really don't want to miss this, you're going to want to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to follow our Facebook page and make sure that you're getting the notifications so you don't miss it. I know last time there's quite a few of you who missed the live video because you don't have the notifications set to on. So if you're interested in the live videos or being part of any of our giveaways coming up or anything like that, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page, but that you're also getting the notifications. And if you need help on doing that, just reach out to our page, our Facebook page, and I will try, or Corey can try and help you figure that out. So today's topic is kind of going to be a little bit on, I always call myself a anti-feminist feminist, so that's pretty much what this video is about. And maybe that's not the right word for it. If you have a better one, make sure you tell me in the comments below. I'm sure you will. But I'm excited about this one because I feel like I need to get this off my chest because it really bothers me, and I feel like it just needs to be said. And before I do that, just to clear it up now, I'm not saying that women's issues are not a very real thing, and I'm not saying that all feminists are this way, and I am not saying that I think that there shouldn't be women's marches or anything like that. I'm just talking about my take on it and what I've seen personally, and as a woman. And yes, I'm a woman, so I'm allowed to say these things. And I know what it's like to be a woman, so you don't have to tell me in the comments that I'm wrong, because I'm a woman, I've lived it, and I've seen things that have really upset me, and I've been through things myself, so I get it all. But what I don't get is, though there's a couple things I don't get, but we're going to start with the big one. And that's that I feel like these women's marches, feminist groups in general, have been a tool or an excuse to, and this is where you're going to be mad at me, treat men unfairly. I know, right? You want to shake your fist at me right now. Maybe you already are. But let me explain. I have seen firsthand, and I'm just going to use this as an analogy, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at with this. I feel like it's slightly unfair it's not unfair. I shouldn't say unfair. I feel like this is not a world that is a good I'm trying to figure out how to word that. I feel like this isn't it isn't a good time to be a man. I guess you could just leave it at that. But I feel that way because, and here's the analogy I was talking about. I feel like if a man opens a door for a woman, and nowadays, they're like, well, why did you open that door for me? I'm a woman. I can handle it. I don't need a man to take care of me. But if you didn't open the door, then it'd be like, well, why didn't you do your gentleman duty and hold open the door for me? And I see that kind of stuff all the time, whether it be on Facebook, through messages or posts, or in real life. Like, I've seen it happen in front of me before. In fact, that exact door situation happened at the mall. I saw this guy open this door for a group of these women, and they actually had feminist t-shirts on. I'm not even making this up. And he opened the door for them, and they went through a different closed door right next to him and said, we don't need a man to open our door. He was just being polite. He didn't whistle at them. He didn't make comments to them. He was literally on the phone, turned around, saw that they were walking behind him, and opened the door for him, and then he was going to keep walking. But instead, they turned a nice gesture into this, I don't need men, men suck, why would you open the door for me? I don't need you. And although I'm all about women empowerment, I'm all about women thinking and knowing that they can do anything they want. They don't need a man by their side. They don't need a man to do it for them. But that doesn't give you an excuse to treat another human being with hatred. When especially they're just trying to show a gesture of kindness. And although I do know that there's bad men out there, there's also really bad women out there. And to put all these men under this umbrella of anti women is super unfair, I feel like. And that's probably a super unpopular opinion of this whole movement. But I just feel like a lot of women have used this as an excuse to treat men and people who do not agree with them badly. And that I cannot support. And then I was bothered. Someone asked me if I wanted to march in one of the women's marches with them. And I said, you know what? Not really. Um, because I had watched a few videos of people, nobody recorded this of them. They recorded it themselves and posted it on social media. So it wasn't like a left or right thing trying to bash women's marches or anything like that. It was something that they recorded themselves, and they had talked about in the video. They were only there because Trump was president. And I thought to myself, you kind of are discrediting this entire thing. Because if you read the articles online, though, a women's march and a women's movement and feminism is all supposed to be about the injustice or the inequality that women have in the specifically here in the United States. But they were only there as like I guess the way that she basically described it was an anti-Trump march. And whether I voted for Trump or not, whether I'm a liberal or I'm a conservative or Democrat or whatever, I am not gonna march in um, what I feel like was a Trojan horse march. And what I mean by that is it was an hate and anti Trump march that was disguised as a women's march. And I'm all about, like I said, I'm all about women empowerment. I am not for spreading hate. Whether I disagree with, in this case, I guess, the president, whether I like him or not, it doesn't have anything to do with it. Call it what it is then, though. Don't try to mask it in women's injustice. Call it what it is. Because the thing is it was very obvious to me that most of the women there wouldn't have been marching if Hillary Clinton had been voted in as president. And this isn't a political thing. I probably will make a video about my views in politics and how I think society kind of does it wrong when it comes to voting. But I'm not getting into that right now. So in the comment section, leave politics out of this because this is not what this is about. It's it's to me that if Hillary Clinton had been president, nobody would be marching. But the thing is that these issues and these injustice that happens on a daily basis to women would have happened still, no matter who was president. So if it was really about women's rights and movement, I feel like it should have been a march that happened anyways. And I kind of want to defend myself in this, but I feel like I really don't have to because it's just my opinion, and I understand that it may not be a popular one. I understand how my words probably might get twisted, and that's kind of why I defended myself at the beginning of this video. It's not even a defense, just so you know, though. Like this is, you know, I'm gonna tell you how I feel, but that doesn't mean that I disagree with everything that's about feminism, and I just feel like we're looking at it wrong. I feel like, again, it's another way for us to be separated. Just like the hashtag Me Too that was going around on social media, that was specifically about if you had been emotionally, physically abused, and kind of either sharing your story or just saying in solidarity, hashtag Me Too, like I've been there, I know. Um, but I saw men post it and kind of sharing their story. And I think anybody who shares their story is so brave. It's hard. It's hard to share your story. I don't really talk about my story too much, so I understand why it's hard. I get it. And I think that it's amazing when you open up and you're able to share that. But the men that shared it kind of got jumped all over and was told, this is not that your story doesn't matter, but it doesn't really matter right now because we're focusing on the Me Too is focusing on women specifically. And I thought to myself, why? If it's about wanting to be equal, shouldn't it be equal in justice? To me, if you're a man or a woman and you're abused in any way or you go through any kind of trauma, um, we should all feel safe to share our story, and we should all be there in full support, and just shower kindness on one another. And I feel like that's the opposite of what happened with that. In fact, I shared my Me Too and I added on the bottom to it, I think very much this is just as much of a men's issue as a women's issue. Um, and I do. I got a couple, actually, quite a few of the men, either my friends or family, who private messaged me after that and said thank you because, I went through this or whatever. They shared their story with me. And they felt like they couldn't share their story before that, which I thought was really cool. And um, again, it's just I feel like we keep making these groups and we keep separating each other when we should be coming together. If you're friends with me on my Facebook page, I recently shared a video of Lady Gaga talking about how we need to get rid of the groups, and start coming together as a whole and putting kindness first. And I feel like that has not been the case with a lot of the things that I have read and experienced when it comes to these feminist groups and these women's marches. And I'm not about that. I'm not about spreading hate. I'm not about trying to be superior to men. I feel like we are all equal in that sense. But I also think that we need to stop saying that men and women are um, the same thing. I feel like we can do the same things. That's very true. Um, but we are still two separate things. We are wired differently. And I feel like the best way, I guess, to say that would be if you try to compare a potato and a banana, and you're like, no, I know that they're not the same thing on the outside, but I swear on the inside, they're the same thing. Um, but they're not. They're very clearly two different things. They look different on the outside, but they're also two completely different things on the inside. They taste different. They look different. The texture is different. And it's just like men and women. Um, they both have their purposes, and they both have their strengths, and they're different, but they're equal. Does that make sense? Um, a man's strength is very possibly a woman's weakness, and I feel like it goes the same way. Women's strength are most likely a men's weakness. We are just wired differently. And I think that's amazing because we can complement each other, whether it be in the workforce, in a relationship, wherever, interacting on a daily basis. We all have our strengths, and they're all equally amazing and great. And I don't know why we have to try to keep being superior to one or the other. And feminism is the definition of equality. That's what it says it is, but I feel like it's always being used to try to one up. Women are just better than men. We're the superior sex. I don't think that's true. I think that we're just different, um, but not superior to one or the other. Um, I hope that if you are one who claims to be a feminist or you are a feminist, I hope you're not one of those who use it as a way to spread hate. But I also, I hope if you are, that you maybe think twice how you treat those around you because um, we all are human, and we all have our struggles, and we all have things that happen to us that are not fair, and not only not fair, but they're completely unjust. And um, we all have things that we go through in this life. And if we can start backing each other up, and no matter what happens against men or women, that we can all rise together and maybe show a little kindness instead of separation. And I think that that would be an amazing, amazing thing. Um, I think I've pretty much hit on all my points. I think I've pretty much got that out there. It is hard for me to exactly get the words out that I wanted to. I had written some notes, and it just felt like it was more. This is more something that had to come just kind of free flow, I guess. Um, but I hope if you are watching this and you don't think that I'm trying to say that women are not amazing, and that women cannot do anything in this world. If I had a daughter, I have a niece who I hope and I know that she can do anything, and she's going to be a really kick-ass girl as she grows up. She already is. Um, and I hope that she just conquers anything that she wants to, because I know that she can. And I feel that way about any woman. Use uh, that inner badass to take on this world and crush it. Um, but don't crush other people on your way, um, if that makes sense. Uh, yeah, I just, I I'm all about women supporting other women. I'm all about the men in our lives that help support us too. Um, and I'm all about it, man. I love word working. I love working with my hands. Um, and I've seen it before when I go to Home Depot. There's men there. When I walked in to buy some wood, and they were like, "Oh, picking up some stuff for your husband?" No, because I was a woman. I apparently wasn't supposed to be in Home Depot buying wood for a project for myself. And I talked to other people who've had that same kind of experience, actually in a hardwood store. Um, but I'm gonna wrap this up. My son just woke up from his nap. But I guess I just told that story because I get it. I get that not a lot of men still see women as being capable as men to doing things. But like I said, I hope you don't use it as to spread hate or to crush other people on your way up. Um, I just found the quote and I love it so much. It says, "Be the woman who fixes another woman's crown without telling her without telling the world that it was crooked. Um, that's the kind of love and support I'm all for. Um, when it comes to anybody, but especially if you're going to be the feminist who's supporting other women um, in that way. You fix her crown and you don't tell the world about it, but then also don't be the kind of don't crush other people on your way up to the top. So, anyways, that's all for today. Let me know your thoughts and comments below, and I hope that you guys have a really great rest of your day. And thank you for joining me. So.